Edition of the June Regents meeting. Glad you could join us. Megan, let's begin by calling the roll.
Regent Adams.
Present.
Regent Adongo.
Present.
Regent Bogus.
Present.
Regent Brinkus.
Here.
Regent Cologne.
Here.
Regent Goydam.
Here.
Regent Cruiser.
Present.
Regent Manydeeds.
Here.
Regent Nixon.
Here.
Regent Peterson.
Here.
Regent Prince.
Present.
Regent Rye.
Here.
Regent Salzwedel.
Here.
Regent Trainer.
Here.
Regent Tyler.
Here.
Regent Underly. Regent Walsh.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Are there any board members who wish to declare a conflict of interest regarding any items in today's open session agenda? Regent Salzwedel?
Yeah, I mentioned it yesterday, but I have a conflict with Merck.
Okay,
I'll abstain from voting.
thank you. Regent Rye?
Yes, I'll be abstaining from item G. Thank you, in the Capital Planning Committee.
Thank you. And I am recusing myself from voting and discussing BNF item E, Madison contract with Merck Sharp and Doe Heem, to avoid the appearance of conflict of interest. Before we begin today's meeting, I do want to note that we are anticipating a special guest later this morning. Governor Evers is expected to share some remarks with the board. When he arrives, we will pause our agenda to welcome him. And now we'll start with the committee reports. I'll call upon Regent Rye to present the report from the Business and Finance Committee.
Sorry, too many things in front of me. Thank you, Regent President Walsh. The Business and Finance Committee acted on its agenda as follows. The committee first heard a presentation from our host campus in which Vice Chancellor Robin Van Harpen shared an overview of the current financial landscape and discussed UWM strategies to further improve its fiscal sustainability. These include investments centered on student success and refinement of UWM's budget model, which uses incentives and metrics to enable data-driven reinvestment in areas of strategic importance. Next, the committee approved a UW-Madison clinical trial agreement with Merck Sharp and Dom. This new 5-year agreement extends the university's relationship with Merck and has resulted in more than 30 clinical trials over nearly 2 decades. The committee then reviewed and approved the Universities of Wisconsin 2024-25 annual operating budget, which we all discussed and adopted later yesterday afternoon. Next, the committee received the Q1 report from the UW Office of Trust Funds. As of March 31st, assets in the SWIB managed portfolios totaled $613 million. For the quarter, the long-term fund increased in value 4%, performing in line with its benchmark. In their intermediate term fund, assets totaled $690 million after gains of 1.6% for that quarter, also performing comparably to its benchmark. The committee then received an informational briefing on shared services across universities of Wisconsin, including both administrative and IT functions. The presentation included a history of these efforts, an update on current service offerings, and the level of participation by each university. We also heard an overview of the future opportunities to expand services aimed at improving efficiency, increasing resiliency, and freeing up resources for our campuses, all in alignment with the goals of our strategic plan. In conclusion, on behalf of the Business and Finance Committee, I now move approval of Resolution E.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of item E, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. All right. Now we'll call upon Regent Weatherly to present the report of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh. Yesterday, the Education Committee approved 4-year degree programs, the annual Villas Trust request and tenure report, campus policies regarding campaigning at resident halls, and we discussed dual enrollment, UW-Milwaukee's undergrad research, and 2023-24 overall progress in the Division of Academic and Student Affairs. We approved the annual request for funding from the Villas Trust Fund for UW-Madison and UW-Milwaukee, which this year has totaled over $9 million. It will support scholarships, fellowships, professorships, and special programs in arts and humanities, social sciences, biological sciences, physical science, and music. We approved the UW Lacrosse of Bachelor of Science in Food and Nutrition Science. This will expand upon the already existing and popular nutritional minor. Students will be prepared for careers and additional education in various fields related to food and nutrition, including master's level food science and registered dietitian preparation programs. A UW-Madison Master's of Social Work and in Social Work Advanced Standing will elevate a current option. A formal distinction will allow greater efficiencies and opportunities for student tracking, management, and application handling. A UW-Madison Bachelor of Science in Agroecology. The program represents a new area of undergraduate study focusing on agricultural production of food, feed, fiber, and fuel, and the biotic constraints and enhancements for this production. A UW River Falls Bachelor of Science in Community and Environmental Planning. This elevates the successful environmental planning emphasis in the current BS in conservation to elevate the profile of the program and will strengthen recruitment to prepare students for careers in environmental and urban planning. We then discussed the dual enrollment task force report and implementation planning, which we didn't have time to do in April. Task force co-chairs Tracy Davidson and Julie Amon presented an overview of next steps, working with K-12 partners to expand dual enrollment access and participation for students. We approved campus policies regarding campaigning in residence halls. Wisconsin law requires the board to promulgate rules prescribing the time, place, and manner in which political literature may be distributed and political campaigning may be conducted on state-owned resident halls. Administrative code then requires a campus to adopt related policies. The institutional policies were subject to review and approval by the Board of Regents. The last board review and approval of institutional policies on campaigning in residence halls for all UW universities was in 1988. We also approved the 2024 report on faculty promotions, tenure, designations, and other changes in status. Regent action is the final step in the rigorous tenure process, and we congratulate the more than 450 faculty members who are newly tenured, promoted, or hired with tenure. We also heard a host presentation from UW-Milwaukee's Provost RA about UWM's unique educational mission for both research and access, along with students Haley Beatty and Jonathan Lezo, who shared their experience as part of research teams. Finally, Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs, Johannes Britz, stopped in to tell us about the progress his office has made over the last year, highlighting the new initiatives and shared upcoming priorities that will include support for student transfer students, collaboration with tech schools, continuing education, and student financial support. Regent President, this concludes my report. I therefore move for adoption by the Board of Resolution C1 through C6 and F. I will delay moving item E for the moment.
Okay, is there a second to his motion? Thank you. Any questions or discussion on that part of the vote? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thank you. Back to you, Regent Weatherly.
I will now move separately item E. I know there were some concerns at the region, so I wanted to move that separately.
Regent Rye.
So, I had the chance to read the materials and understand that when it comes to Resolution E, this is the first time, as you just mentioned, that we've really, as a board, had a chance to review this since 1988, which was a long time ago. I really do appreciate the time and effort that everybody has put in, especially the committee, the campuses, into this policy. But I really do think the merits review and consideration by our full board. And I would move to postpone item E to our next board meeting. And thankfully, we have one late in June, so we won't have too far of a delay.
Just a few weeks away, right? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? So what we're doing is we're just taking a couple more weeks to let everyone on the full board have a look at this, because really only the education committee was likely to have read it. So I think no other questions. All right, I will call the question. All in favor of postponing item E, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Resolution passes. What? The motion passes, sorry. Hey, come on, I'm a lame duck. Now, Regent Adams for the report of the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh. The Audit Committee met yesterday morning. Chief Audit Executive Lori Storrs reviewed the progress to date on the fiscal year 2024 audit plan. She confirmed that her office has substantially completed the plan with a few audits that will be finished this summer. She expects to bring those audit reports to the committee when we meet again in August. Ms. Stortz then provided a high-level summary of the results of audits recently issued by the Office of Internal Audit since our last meeting in April 2024. This included the internal assessment for the Office of Internal Audit and the audit's Regent Policy Document 13-1, General Contract Approval, Signature Authority, and Reporting and Payment Card Industry Compliance, representations from universities to system. Following that, Ms. Stortz presented the proposed fiscal year 2025 audit plan, which was approved unanimously by the audit committee. Lastly, Ms. Stortz reaffirmed the independent statement of the Office of Internal Audit. We next heard from Paige Smith, Chief Compliance Officer, who presented the fiscal year 2025 annual plan for the Office of Compliance and Risk Management, which the audit committee also approved unanimously. Ms. Smith concluded with a presentation summarizing the risk assessments completed during year one of the Risk Compliance and Audit Pilot Program, known as RCA. For the final agenda item, Amanda Braun, Athletic Director at UW-Milwaukee, presented the UW-Milwaukee NCAA Division I Athletics 2023-24 report. The committee thanked the participants for their ongoing support and dedication. Regent Walsh, this concludes my report, and so therefore I move to approve Resolution D3, the fiscal year 2025 audit plan, and Resolution E1, the fiscal year 2025 annual plan.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, Regent Adams. And now, last but not least, Regent Many Deeds for a report of the capital planning.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh. Of course, leaving the most exciting committee for last, I don't blame you. We commenced the meeting by approving 2 real estate items and 4 projects at La Crosse, Platteville, Milwaukee, and Madison on the consent agenda. The committee was then provided with a presentation on the plan to honor veterans on behalf of Madison's Camp Randall Sports Center replacement project. The plan has 3 components: honoring veterans in the facility design by creating a new plaza, honoring student veterans and supporting student officer education by adding a certifying position, begin planning on 2 projects and creating a task force on financial need, and recognition of military service in athletics and beyond by supporting various recovery and identification projects, removal of football game activities from the park, and providing a prisoner of war missing in action chair at home games. The 2023 Wisconsin Act 102 requires the Board of Regents to submit a plan for consideration to the Veterans Board by June 30th, 2024. On behalf of UW-Madison, we approved a request to complete design and allow UW Health to construct a $48,500,000 2-story addition to the east wedge of the Wisconsin Institute for Medical Research on behalf of NIH grant to provide facilities for a cyclotron, BSL-2 lab, and associated spaces to assist in various medical and cancer research initiatives. Next, the committee reviewed and approved the demolition of the David A. Coffran Library and the replacement of it with a new facility at UW Green Bay. This project will remove the deteriorating high-rise facility and install a new state-of-the-art learning center. Due to a budgeting error during the pre-design stage of the project, the enumerated budget was short, and although the university has reduced the size of the replacement facility, additional funds available through the closure of older projects will restore the project's scope. The committee approved amending Regent Policy Document 19-5, delegation of authority to remove unneeded structures, to modify policy provisions. The changes in the policy define process for removing structures through the UW-managed gift and grant program and the Department of Administration. The committee received the semi-annual status report on leasing and UW-managed program. Total value of the UW-managed program is now approximately $647 million. Vice President Robin Van Harpen and Associate Vice President Melissa Spandonuna provided the host campus presentation, Capital Planning and Progress, Transforming for Tomorrow. Their presentation provided an overview of UWM's unique mission and vision, which is enhanced by recent projects such as renovation of this building, construction of a new chemistry building, and demolition of Building A in the Northwest Quad Complex. The presentation highlighted the need to continue investment in the reparation and renovation of facilities that are at the end of their useful life or need to be renovated to support student activities and researchers. This presentation focused on the need to advance important projects critical to providing modern learning and skill development in the STEM and health areas. Senior Associate President Alex Rowe and Capital Budget Director Tom Bittner provided an overview of the capital budget workbook that addresses new Regent criteria for the evaluation of major projects. Madam President, that concludes my report, and I move resolutions E1, E2, E3, E4, F, H, and I.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Any questions for Regent Many Deeds or discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
One more item. We
Okay,
had a recusal on resolution G, so I would move that separately.
I'm sorry.
I move that separately, item G.
Yes, thank you. Is there a second? All right, any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thanks.
Next on our agenda is the Board of Regents Academic Staff Excellence Awards. These awards are an opportunity for us to recognize the outstanding work being done by academic staff across the UW system. There are about 13,000 academic staff throughout the system, the university's largest sector of employees. And I have a soft spot in my heart for these folks since I used to be one. And to lead us through the awards, I'm going to turn the floor over to the chair of the selection committee, Regent Jim Cruiser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is with great pleasure that we welcome here today our distinguished guests, the recipients of the 2024 Regents Academic Staff Excellence Awards. We also welcome their families, friends, and colleagues who are joining us for this award presentation both in person and via the webcast. With these awards, we, the Board of Regents, salute the hard work, dedication, and innovative thinking of our talented academic staff members. We are honored to recognize two individuals and a program that have helped their respective universities provide stellar services and educational programs to our UW students. The tireless work of these recipients, along with the work of academic staff system-wide, helps to strengthen and invigorate not only our UW universities, but also the broader communities in which they serve. If anyone wants to learn a little bit more about our award winners, I invite you to check out their profiles on the Board of Regents website. I'd like to thank my fellow regents on the selection committee, Regent Robert Atwell, Regent Haben Godum, and Regent Mark Tyler, as they will help me present the awards this morning. All of today's recipients are impressive examples of the powerful impact that outstanding academic staff can have on students' lives. We look forward to hearing from each of them in a few moments. Before we present this year's award winners, however, I would like to acknowledge other nominees by reading their names and universities. Dr. Connie Schrader, UW-Milwaukee. Liz Schall, UW-Platteville. Mark Huttmeyer, UW-River Falls. Dr. Tobias Barsky, UW-Stevens Point. Britta Miller, UW-Stout. And Christine Zaballos, UW-Whitewater. Program nominees included UW-Madison's Undergraduate Research Scholars Program, UW-Milwaukee's Office of Assessment and Institutional Research, and UW River Falls Campus Recreation Department, UW Stevens Point STEAM Point Days Program, and UW Stout's Instructional Resources Service Department. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to thank all of the nominees for taking the time to submit materials and for their important contributions. My colleagues and I on the Regents Selection Committee will now introduce one of the year's award recipients. Each recipient will then have the opportunity to make brief remarks. I will introduce the first award. It is my privilege to present the first 2024 Board of Regents Academic Staff Excellence Award in the individual category to Lynda Bader. She's the Director of Clinical Trials Strategic Initiatives at UW-Madison. Over the past 3 years in this role, Ms. Bader has greatly enhanced the clinical trials landscape at UW-Madison. She initiated strategic improvements that have catalyzed growth, elevated quality, and enhanced performance in this critical area of research. Ms. Bader's recognized the need for standardized cost structures. She subsequently led a collaborative effort involving multiple departments and disciplines to establish a universally applicable fee structure template for industry-sponsored clinical trials. This initiative resulted in increased revenue from industry-sponsored research, an accomplishment that has gained attention and inquiries from other academic institutions seeking her guidance. UW-Madison's provost noted that our honoree, and I quote, "Lynda brings her talents in project management, process improvement, and tremendous skill in positive communication to constantly advance the conduct and delivery of clinical trials to our patients, our community, and beyond. Truly an embodiment of the Wisconsin idea," unquote. It is my distinct honor to present our first Academic Staff Excellence Award to Lynda Bader of UW-Madison.
We need to get everybody in.
Thank you for this award and for the recognition of the great work done by academic staff. And congratulations, sorry. And congratulations to fellow nominees and recipients. It is truly an honor to be recognized amongst my peers. As a first-generation college student and a two-time graduate within the Universities of Wisconsin system, I would not have the opportunities I've had and continue to have if it weren't for the support of the UW system and all those who dedicate their lives to serve students, support the local and state communities, and improve the educational, professional, economic, and environmental prosperity in Wisconsin. To quote Susan Cain from her book, Quiet, "A strategy for success is to never stop trying to become qualified for the job." In the work I do and in our ever-changing world, one has to keep pace, adapt, and continually learn, apply, grow, and evolve in order to stay relevant and advance relevant work. While that may be a recipe for my personal success, what it takes to be outstanding is not a solitary endeavor or journey. I am here today because of the many people, family, friends, educators, advisors, mentors, and colleagues who have helped me throughout my academic and professional career. I am delighted to be here to serve as a representative, to recognize and celebrate those people, their influence and their impact, which collectively advances the mission and goals of the UW system. While there are many to thank, I want to highlight 4 within the UW system that have had the most impact on me and embody the mission, vision, values, and spirit of the Wisconsin idea. First, UW-Oshkosh, and congratulations to my fellow recipient at UW-Oshkosh. UW-Oshkosh was my entrance into the UW system, where I received a bachelor's in business administration. I graduated valedictorian with dreams of going to college. However, at that same time, my father had become very ill with a very aggressive form of cancer. As a first generation college student with very limited financial resources and parents to care for, my dream for going to college seemed to be just that, a dream. However, that dream became a reality when I was awarded a full tuition scholarship from UW-Oshkosh. With the scholarship, I was able to go to college, yet remain close to home to care for my parents. It made what seemed impossible possible and gave me access to a higher education that I did not think was attainable. I was intimidated, though, as I was entering a sea of 10,000 students and set on a course of a completely new experience and culture. However, the educators, advisors, and academic staff all took me under their wing, selflessly gave me personal attention, guided me, and empowered me to excel. The outcome, not only an excellent educational foundation, but also the skills, personal resources, and confidence to start my professional journey. To the UW-SMPH Master of Science in Biotechnology program, and to the leaders of which 3 of them are here today, 3 of the original and continuing leaders of the biotechnology program, Kurt Zimmerman, Natalie Betts, and Brian Husk. Although biotechnology was starting to burgeon in Wisconsin, at the inception of the biotechnology program, Wisconsin was still largely considered a flyover zone for pharma and biotech companies. However, the leaders of the biotechnology program dared to envision and develop a graduate program that would educate and train our future leaders, many of which who are today leaders at our Wisconsin biotechnology companies. I appreciate the risk that they took in accepting me as one of the very first students into the program. I did not fit the expectations of the typical student. I did not have any biotech, pharma, scientific, nor clinical background. However, they recognized the multidisciplinary needs of the industry and the diversity of talent it requires. It was through the biotechnology program that my professional career trajectory had changed and opened the doors of opportunity for me at GE Healthcare, Covance, UW Health, and now the UW Clinical Trials Institute. The success of this now 20-year program continues to train and develop biotechnology leaders and fuel innovation and growth within the biotechnology industry in Wisconsin. The UW-Madison SMPH biotechnology program has helped put Wisconsin on the map as a leader in the industry and earn federal recognition as a regional tech hub in biohealth. To the UW Academic Health System, the UW-Madison SMPH and UW Health, for the remarkable care that my family and I have received over the past 25 years. The UW Academic Health System is home to remarkable clinical care, home to physicians and researchers who are on the leading edge of their fields, and home to many novel therapies and treatments. However, it was the hearts, minds, talents, passion, and compassion of all those at the university and at UW Health who provided care and treatment for my father that brought me to Madison. The extraordinary people, the academic learning environment, the research, innovation, and cultural diversity all drew me in, and it was there where I realized what I wanted to do, where I wanted to learn, work, contribute, and thrive. And finally, to the UW Clinical Trials Institute, where I call home, my professional home. I am accompanied by our UW Health Chief Clinical Research Officer and Director of the UW Clinical Trials Institute, Betsy Nugent, an esteemed colleague, Senior Director of Clinical Trials Integration and Medical Science Liaison, Dr. Rafael Bentamia. Their leadership, vision, and passion to reimagine a more patient-centric, compassionate, and resourceful way to deliver clinical trials, to improve patient access to innovative treatment, and to make it easier for all stakeholders involved in clinical trials and clinical care, embraces the mission and values of the UW system and the Wisconsin idea. Embedded in the UW-CTI strategies are the initiatives focused on creating partnerships among the UW faculty, staff, and students with businesses, organizations, and communities across the state to increase the reach and impact of the leading edge work that we do and to improve the experience, health, quality of life, and outcomes for those we serve. I have the privilege of collaborating with these exceptional folks across the UW system and the state. So I gratefully and humbly thank you, Regents, and to all involved in the nomination selection process for this recognition, and more importantly, for the opportunity to recognize the influences that led me here. I will shamelessly use this award to give visibility to the outstanding work being done across all of the system and to specifically promote and elicit continued support for UW-Madison, SMPH, our remarkable UW academic health system, the Masters of Biotechnology program, and of course, my professional home, UW Clinical Trials Institute. In the words of Khalil Gibran, progress lies in not enhancing what is, but in advancing toward what will be. So to answer the question that is posed to the recipients of this award, what does it take to be an outstanding academic staff member or program? All of us united in the mission, vision, and values to imagine and move toward what will be. This is what makes us all outstanding. Thank you very much for this honor, and thank you to all of the academic staff who makes us all outstanding.
Good morning. It is a privilege to present the second Academic Staff Excellence Award in the individual category. This award goes to Jenna Graff, International Programs Manager at UW-Oshkosh. Ms. Graff has served as the director of UW-Oshkosh's Office of International Education since its inception in 2003. During her tenure, she has facilitated study abroad trips for over 6,000 students, led by more than 100 UWO professors and instructional academic staff to 50 countries in all continents except Antarctica. Students have studied tropical ecosystems in Belize, engaged in clinical nursing practices in India and Peru, and partnered with community organizations in Nicaragua. In addition to developing faculty-led study abroad programs, Ms. Graff has supervised efforts to recruit and retain international students. The provost offered these words to describe our honoree. Ms. Graff is an engaged citizen of our university and is known across campus as a thoughtful and vocal advocate for students, faculty, and staff. She frequently participates in open forums, town halls, and the Senate of Academic Staff, where she articulates her concerns, shares her ideas, and builds connections with the greater UWO community. On that note, I am honored to present our second Academic Staff Excellence Award to Jenna Graff.
All right. So I want to just start by saying thank you to all of the colleagues I've had over the past 27 years working in the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh and across the UW system. I actually started naming these people in the speech I was going to give here, but I stopped at about 100 thinking, this is just not going to work. So staff in my office who have been amazing colleagues and the most dedicated, persistent, hardworking people I've ever known. Staff around UW-Oshkosh and the faculty and instructional academic staff who lead our programs and support our programs. All of my colleagues across the universities of Wisconsin, campuses who have collaborated for many, many years in training and best practice and just regular discussions on how to move forward with students. And all of my colleagues globally who have made everything that I do a possibility because they're doing the same thing on their campuses. And with that, I just want to tell you a little bit about why I'm in international education at UW-Oshkosh in the first place. I really love this career because I get to dedicate myself to mutual understanding, to respect, equality, and justice through citizen diplomacy. It's my passion, it's my purpose to increase access to U.S. education for students whose dream it is to study in the U.S., and also to increase exposure of U.S. students to a diversity of perspectives. And I can sum up that impact, I think, on students as a life-changing adventure leading to increased confidence, soft skills development, renewed excitement for learning and discovering how the world works, often with a traceable impact on their career paths. But let's not forget the impact on the people who do the work, especially our UW-Oshkosh faculty and our instructional academic staff, who are the folks who are in the classroom and telling students the importance of this type of activity and getting them to engage when otherwise they might be afraid to do it. They often describe their global activities as their most important career contribution and the activity that brings them the most professional and personal satisfaction. Lots of people say, well, what is international education? It is defined differently by every school and by every discipline. It's partially achieved through course and program learning outcomes, but it's intangible, it's imprecise. Those who pursue it often feel less and less worldly as they learn more and more. And those who have never thought very deeply about it might confuse it with travel. More than once, I've heard people say, well, what does she do? She just books airline tickets and entrances to museums, right? Okay. Simplified, I think international education is a vision for people-to-people relations in the future. It's often achieved via a widely employed set of strategies that have evolved significantly over the last decades. So how do you do international education? What are these strategies? These are the things that I think would be familiar to you. Study abroad and international exchange, exchange within the US, running intensive English programs, short-term custom group programs for students and professionals from abroad, administration of the higher education component of a state-to-state student exchange between Hessen, Germany, and Wisconsin, international student recruiting, and the list goes on. But there's a fun part to this in my world related to collaboration and innovation. We've come a long way from international education being study abroad, junior year or junior semester abroad. And I get to work side by side with academics to develop strategies and solutions that become intentionally designed learning experiences. But what I really do, those are the outcomes. But what I do to make these strategies a reality for as many students as possible is spend my days and my nights and some of my weekends on activities that don't sound much like international education. So travel risk management, strategic planning, immigration regulations, compliance, budgets, project management, building e-solutions, business processes, consistent messaging, and project maps, and so many other businessy things that I never, when I was much younger, could have imagined would be part of what I do today. I really thought I was going into international education to talk about culture. And I'm proud to say, though, today that all this businessy stuff that I have embraced and truly ended up enjoying, all the collaboration and innovation really paid off for UW-Oshkosh students. Our study abroad participation numbers were equal to 16 to 20% of our graduating class year over year, millions in net revenue, and hundreds more students participating in in-person and virtual global experiences without ever leaving the UWO campus. So here's where I say thank you again to the countless people whose dedication, persistence, and creativity put the education into international education. And a huge, huge thank you to all of those folks who, from a student's perspective, work behind the scenes or maybe don't even exist, entering data and paying bills in multiple currencies and processing financial aid, procuring and contracting and tracking and communicating on the minutia that we all put together to become a seamless, life-changing global experience. So thank you.
So I'm particularly delighted to present this next award. As faculty, as academic staff, as an institution, we pride ourselves in the education that we deliver. But that education is built on a foundation that was started 17, 18 years before we see our students. A lot of studies have been done at the Federal Reserve Bank, at Harvard, at many of our own universities that talk about the best financial investment that you can make in education is in early childhood. As a family resource center director, new job for me in retirement, I've come to learn a lot of new things. And one of those things is the level of dedication and passion that's required working with a child that doesn't yet know how to communicate and setting that foundation that is what we will build on many, many years later. So our third Academic Staff Excellence Award goes to the Children's Center of UW-Whitewater. The center's mission is to transform lives by providing learner-centered, collaborative early care, an educational environment that embodies the best practices for young children, their families, educators, and pre-service teachers. The program has built partnerships across the campus since its opening in 1974. As one example, the Children's Center has a long-standing partnership with the university's Communication Sciences and Disorders program. This program's graduate students provide services for speech, literacy, and language needs, including screening, prevention, assessment, and treatment. This collaboration not only benefits the children at the center, but also offers vital clinical experiences for speech language pathology graduate students. The Children's Center provides over 6,000 placement hours annually for students completing their field work and student teaching in the early childhood program. The Chancellor describes the center's contributions to the universities this way. The Children's Center's commitment to academic partnership goes well beyond traditional disciplines with collaborations in sustainability, nutrition education, music, art, and library services. It's with great pride that I present the 2024 Academic Staff Excellence Award to the Children's Center of UW-Whitewater, represented today by Chelsea Newman, the director and lead teacher. Congratulations. Congratulations. I think we're.
Oh, we got a couple.
Yeah.
I got a quick question. You guys want to do this in front of the microphones? We got more space?
Whatever.
Oh, in there, sure.
Just do it up front here. Come on up here.
Okay, here we go.
Go back this way.
I'm gonna introduce you. All right. Thank you. I am Chelsea Newman, the Children's Center Director. My amazing staff behind me here, we have Katie Check, Jenna Lee Johnson, Ellie Bader, Jacob Pierce, and Haley Westhouse. We are deeply honored to accept the Board of Regents Academic Staff Excellence Award on behalf of the UW-Whitewater Children's Center. It is truly humbling to stand before you representing a program that has been an integral part of our university community for nearly 50 years. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Board of Regents for recognizing the efforts of our program. This award is a testament to the dedication and hard work of every member of our team, past and present. We have built a program that values relationships, continuity of care, and collaboration. We strive to provide the highest quality of care that our children and families deserve. I also want to extend a sincere thanks to the university administration, faculty, staff, and students have supported us throughout the years. Your belief in our mission and your continued collaboration has been an instrumental part of our success. One of the greatest strengths of our program lies in the partnerships we have forged with both the campus and the wider community. These partnerships have been the cornerstone of our ability to provide growth and learning opportunities for all of those involved. To our campus partners, thank you for your unwavering support and collaboration. Together, we have been able to create a vibrant environment where students and community members alike can thrive and grow. To our community partners, your dedication to our shared goals has been truly inspiring. Your willingness to work hand in hand with us has not only enriched the experience of our students, but has also a lasting impact on the communities we serve. In addition to our local partnerships, I am proud to say that our program has been at the forefront of advocacy efforts for the field of early childhood. We firmly believe that investing in early childhood education is one of the most powerful ways to ensure the future success of our society. Throughout initiatives such as partnering in a Day Without Childcare advocacy walk and continued communication with state representatives, we have worked tirelessly to raise awareness about the importance of early childhood education and to advocate for policies that support children and families. In closing, I want to dedicate this award to every individual who has been a part of our journey. Whether you have been with us from the beginning or have joined us along the way, your contributions have been invaluable, and this award is as much yours as it is ours. As we look towards the future, let us continue to build upon the foundations that we have laid, and let us redouble our efforts to advocate for the field of early childhood. Together, we can create a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. Thank you once again for this honor. It is truly the highlight of our careers, and I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve such incredible colleagues. Thank you, Warhawk Bolt.
And it is my privilege now to introduce the Governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers. Welcome to the Regents.
Greetings. Good morning. Morning. So what's happening? So it is great to be here today, and thank you all for the opportunity to be here today. It's been a long time. First and foremost, I appreciate the work that you do on behalf of the state of Wisconsin and the University of Wisconsin system. Having sat in your seats for years, actually, I think it was 11 plus, if I remember correctly, during my time as state superintendent, I want to tell you how grateful I am that you believe that our UW system and our UW campuses are among the most valuable assets we have in the state of Wisconsin. UW is central to our state's economy. It is an essential part of our promise of public education. It's critical for our state's workforce and recruiting and retaining and training talent for the state's future. UW has a long historic tradition of solving complex problems, marshaling world-class research to inform better governments, and the laboratory for innovation that has saved and changed lives here in Wisconsin and across the world. But there is no dispute that despite our best efforts for more than a decade, now we've watched as a war being waged on public higher education in Wisconsin. The devastating effects include campus closures, staff and faculty layoffs, and program cuts and consolidation. Despite our best efforts these past 5 years to undo a decade of damage in the making, what we're seeing is a decade-long war on one of our state's most prized institutions. We've also seen how the UW system has increasingly been used as a political punching bag, and I know that hurts. It's always been my belief, then as a regent and now as governor, that the Board of Regents should not be an extension of any branch of government or elected official. I'm here today because I want to reaffirm that the Board of Regents should have the independence and autonomy necessary to carry out the important work the people of Wisconsin expect. And I'm here today because of that obligation and the responsibility that we share. Early next year, I will introduce my 2025-2027, seems like that came up real fast, biennial budget proposal. In September, UW system will submit its biennial budget request as approved by you, the Board of Regents, for my consideration in the next budget. Every budget I've ever built began with public education and doing what's best for our students, and that work begins here today. At the heart of my executive budget will be addressing the challenges facing our UW system, including making the investments necessary to try and right a decade worth of wrongs. To that end, today, I'm asking you to send a budget request to my desk that meets this critical moment and the urgent, significant needs of our UW system. My next biennial budget, I will propose, and I am asking you to submit in your agency budget request the largest biennial budget increase in our UW system's state history. In my next biennial budget, I will ask the legislature to provide an increase of over $400 million in each year of the biennium for the UW system. And I'm here today to ask your consideration and support. We are here today at a critical juncture in the UW system's history. We must make historic and significant investments in this next biennial budget if we're going to prevent further degradation of the UW system. Being 42nd in the nation in state support does not cut it. If we want to bring bright new talent to our state, if we want to make sure folks choose Wisconsin as the place where they want to build their careers, open a business, buy a house, start a family, and if we want to address generational changes and challenges facing our state, then we must invest in the University of Wisconsin system. It's that simple. Our state's future depends on our ability to meet those goals, and this more than $800 million increase is a crucial step in the right direction to get our UW system back on the right track. I'm hopeful you will support this important effort. And I just have to go off script here. Every speech I get, I always have one or two of these. So I have to tell you about yesterday. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to be in northern Wisconsin, and it was an annual event that brings people together, that Native nations, Ojibwe nations in particular, and Wisconsin people that work in the fisheries industry. And they are a group that talk every year, not only about the rights of the Native nations, but also making sure that the system is sound, that everybody's working together. And this includes people from Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I had a chance during the time between sessions to talk to people and say, hey, where'd you go to college? And whether Minnesota or Wisconsin, Chancellor from Stevens Point, everybody went to school there. Think about that. And just for your information, fishing in Wisconsin is a $2.3 billion enterprise. So thank you, Chancellor. We wouldn't have it without you, or Stevens Point, or the UW system, or any. I could go down the row here and talk about every single campus and the impact they make on our economy. Outstanding. So that's what I do every day. It's part of my job. What fun, huh? So speaking of me, I can trace the path of my success back to the high quality public education I received at the University of Wisconsin system, just like many in this room. And guess what? Many of our legislators. So I look forward to the opportunities ahead to make this next budget one that reflects our state's proud tradition. And I look forward to our work together in the months ahead. Thanks a lot for the time today. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think the budget cycle just got more interesting. All right, now we have the annual election of officers for the board. The bylaws of the Board of Regents specify that officers of the board are elected at the annual meeting held in June and hold their office for 1 year until their successors are elected. Terms of office begin immediately after the June meeting. If there is only one nominee for an office, the election is by voice vote. If there is more than one nominee for an office, the election is by ballot. So nominations are now in order for the office of board president. Yes, Regent Rye.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh, not only for recognizing me, but also for your service as the president of this board. It is with great honor that I nominate Regent Kyle Weatherly to be our next vice president of the board. Kyle was appointed to the Board of Regents.
Hold it. This is for president. Sorry.
Oh, I thought I had the wrong one. I thought you asked for vice.
No. Regent Many Deeds.
Thank you, President Walsh.
We're flying without a flight plan today.
So I'm nominating Amy Bogus for the office of Regent President. When Amy was appointed to the Board of Regents 4 years ago, I believe, I had not met her, didn't know her. So I asked about her from some of my friends in Madison, and they told me that she was a brilliant, excellent lawyer, top-notch in her field, that she practiced in the area of domestic abuse and sexual violence, and that she was passionate about those things, that she was there to help her clients as best she could. And when she came to the Board of Regents and I met her, I saw that passion and that caring about her clients, in this case, the Board of Regents, translated to her being just an excellent member of the Board of Regents. When she was asked to be on a committee, she immediately dove in. She was on several chancellor searches, which she consumed her as they make sure we had the best people in those positions, that is of chancellor of their universities that she was searching for. She helped with the tribal consultation policy being implemented. She was at all of the meetings. She cares deeply about that and was instrumental in helping us get that to become a policy. She has been a vice president for 2 years. She goes to all the meetings. She's approachable. She's intelligent. She's hardworking. She's everything you need in a president. And so it's my pleasure to nominate her for the office of President of the Board of Regents.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions or nominations? Seeing none, Regent Amy Bogus has been nominated for the office of board president. All in favor of electing her as president of the board, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Congratulations, Regent Bogus.
Thank you so much, Ed, for those very kind words. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to our outgoing Regent President, Karen Walsh. Regent Walsh's commitment to this board, to the universities, the students, staff, faculty, and administration is unwavering. Karen is truly the definition of a public servant. I have been so very privileged to sit alongside her to learn and grow as a leader. And I also want to make sure that I make a big promise to Regent Walsh that I will ask every time for people to speak up into the microphones as many times as necessary. I look forward to working with all of you, President Rothman, chancellors, faculty, staff, students, to ensure success at all our campuses. I have been a regent for 4 years. And during my service, I've had an opportunity to serve alongside the most amazing, dedicated regents. This board is filled with people of varying backgrounds, personal, professional, and political. But the most important quality of this board is at the end of the day, we are all driven by our mutual passionate and unwavering dedication to ensure that our state's most valuable asset, the University of Wisconsin, thrives. And all of our citizens have access to world-class education to not only improve their lives, but those of their families. Higher education is the great equalizer and the primary pathway to economic mobility. We have many new board members, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you, rolling up our sleeves and work hard to ensure that our universities flourish and grow so that we may be true to our mission, the Wisconsin idea. Thank you so much.
And now nominations are open for the office of Vice President of the Board, Regent Rye.
All right, I'll try to get this right this time. It is, thank you, Regent President Walsh. It is with great honor that I nominate Regent Kyle Weatherly to be our next Vice President of the Board. Kyle was appointed to the Board of Regents in May of 2020. He currently serves as the Chair of the Education Committee and is a member of the Board's Executive Committee, the Audit Committee, which he actually previously chaired, and the Personnel Matters Review Committee. In addition, Kyle serves as the Governor's Regent appointment to the Higher Educational Aids Board, as this board's representative on the University Research Park Board, and as one of 3 Regent representatives on the UW Hospital and Clinics Authority Board. Kyle has also previously served as a member of the Business and Finance Committee and on search committees for the chancellors of UW Parkside, which he chaired, UW River Falls, and UW-Whitewater. For those who served with Kyle on this board, we know that everything I've just noted is only a fraction of the contributions Kyle has made to this board, our campuses, and the entire system. He has made time to be present at all 13 campuses, and on those trips, he's made it his mission to engage with our students. I don't know how many times he's ditched me for dinner to go have dinner with the students. He is the first to welcome the new regents and always available to help us navigate into the future. I feel Kyle will be an excellent vice president of our board, and I truly hope you'll all agree with me.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of Vice President? Seeing none, the vote will be by voice acclamation. All in favor of electing Kyle Weatherly Vice President of the Board, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And you're not allowed to speak. Fine. Congratulations, Regent Vice President Weatherly.
Thank you, Regent Rye. I will be brief, but not maybe as brief as Regent President-elect Bogost. So I do have some comments. First, the only reason Regent Rye has nice things to say about me is because of the opportunities that many have provided to me. I would like to start by thanking some of them. My first thank you is to Governor and Regent Emeritus and newly proposer of our $400 million budget increase, Governor Evers, for appointing me. Absent that, I wouldn't be here. My second thank you is to Regent President Emeritus Drew Peterson, who was overly generous with his time during my first year and appointed me to the University Research Park Board. My third thank you is to Regent President Emeritus Ed Meningdeeds, who not only appointed me to chair of the Audit Committee, but to borrow a phrase from yesterday, makes me want to be a better person. My fourth thank you is to Regent-elect Bogost. I'm not only excited to serve with you, but I am proud to be your friend. My fifth thank you is to all the regents, chancellors, provosts, staff members, shared governance leaders, and students who have indulged my naive questions and dumb ideas. You have made me a better regent and hopefully one that will make you proud in leadership. My final thank you, and frankly, the most important thank you, is to Regent President, almost Emeritus, Karen Walsh. She was the first person I ever talked to after I was appointed and has been a tireless mentor to me ever since. I am very pleased with what education has accomplished the last 2 years, but this is only possible because of her confidence in me. Thank you. I would like to close with a commitment and a favor. First, the commitment to every regent, chancellor, and UW leader in this room. I am always available. If you have any questions, concerns, a great idea, or even an okay idea, call me. I can't promise I will have an answer or solution, but I promise I want to hear from you. Second, the favor. Besides the honor of your vote, I would ask that you hold me accountable to the highest standard of leadership. I am certain I will fall short of this. And when I do, please let me know. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Regent Vice President Weatherly. Now we have the election of other officers of the board. These officers can be considered as a slate. Proposed officers are Megan Wassley, Corporate Secretary of the Board, Kristen Bach, Assistant Secretary, Stephen Wright, Assistant Secretary, Sean Nelson, Trust Officer, and Charles Sanders, Assistant Trust Officer. Is there a nomination to elect these officers?
Yes, I'll nominate.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? And we'll vote on them as a slate, seeing no further nominations as well. All in favor of electing the proposed officers as a slate, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Thank you. You are all elected. Congratulations. Next, yes. Okay, now it's time to adopt the calendars for the board 2025 and 2026 regular meetings. As a procedural note, the proposed schedules include a few adjustments that will require a suspension of the board's bylaws. The regular meeting that would normally be scheduled for October 9 and 10 of 2025 would be moved to September 18 to 19, 2025, out of respect for those who observe the Jewish holiday of Sukkot and other work-restricted religious holidays during the 2 weeks preceding and 1 week following the typical October meeting date. The regular meeting that would normally be scheduled for April 9 and 10 of 2026 will be moved to April 16 to 17, 2026, out of respect for those who observe the Jewish holiday of Passover. As a reminder, a suspension of the bylaws requires an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the total members of the board. Is there a motion to approve the 2025 and 26 UW System Board of Regents meeting schedule?
Moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
And
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a voice vote on this one by one. Megan, please let her rip. Voice vote, please.
All in favor?
No, no.
A
Roll
voice
call,
vote.
sorry.
Roll call, okay.
Thank you. Oh, boy.
Regent Adams,
Yes.
Regent Adongo,
yes.
Regent Bogus,
Yes.
Regent Brinkus,
Yes.
Regent Cologne,
Yes.
Regent Goydam,
Yes.
Regent Cruiser,
Yes.
Regent Manydeeds, Regent Nixon,
Yes.
Regent Peterson,
Yes.
Regent Prince,
Yes.
Regent Rye,
Yes.
Regent Salzwedel, Regent Trainer, Regent Tyler,
Yes.
Regent Underly, Regent Walsh,
Yes.
all in favor.
Great, thank you very much. Next, I'd like to welcome back Regent, oh, sorry.
Sorry, Regent Weatherly, we cut you off. Thank you.
Okay, what just happened? Didn't vote.
Weatherly got cut off. Sorry.
That's just your first sacrifice as
Yeah.
vice president of the board. Now, I'd like to welcome back Regent Emerita Jennifer Staton, who served as the board's non-traditional student regent. I'll now call upon Vice President Amy and newly elected President Amy Bogus to present the board's resolution of appreciation for Jen's service to the universities of Wisconsin.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh. Jennifer Staton is truly a remarkable person. This is a true statement. I met Jen when she began her term on the board in May of 2022. I learned that Jen served in the U.S. Army from 2007 to 2014. There you are. I couldn't find you. As I was thinking about what to say about her, I looked up what is expected of an Army soldier. I found that there are 7 values taught in basic training. The values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. It all made sense. This is what Jen Staton is made up of. As a regent, Jen was always loyal to this board and its mission. She understood her duty to the board, the universities, and to the people of this state. She has respect that is shown in every conversation, and she understands true selfless service in her commitment to each member of this board to work as hard as she can, and Jen worked very hard. She is an honorable person in that she takes the time to understand others, to make sure that her decisions are carefully thought out. She is a person of integrity, which was exemplified by her ability to be honest and quickly develop trust among her colleagues. She is a person with immense courage. As the Army states, you can build your personal courage by daily standing up for and acting upon those things that you know are honorable. Jennifer lives her life by this, as we witnessed her speaking out for veterans, other students, and those that need a voice. You have taught all of us true courage, and we are forever grateful for your service to this board and for your service to this nation. We wish you great success and look forward to achieving your goal of becoming a physician's assistant. I believe this quote by Arthur Ashe, who is not only a sports legend, but a true humanitarian dedicated to social justice and education, embodies Jennifer. True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost. Thank you, Jen. And now it is my pleasure to read the resolution. Whereas Jennifer Staton, appointed as a non-traditional student regent in May of 2022, has provided exemplary service as a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents. And whereas Jennifer has served on the audit committee, working to ensure that the University of Wisconsin maintain a high level of integrity and compliance in their operating procedures, and has also contributed her time and insights to the Business and Finance Committee and the Committee on Student Discipline and other students' appeals. And whereas Jennifer, a veteran of the U.S. Army who served in various roles from 2007 to 2014, has been an unwavering advocate for the experience of student veterans across the universities of Wisconsin, and the board valued the opportunity to hear her describe how various programs offered to student veterans assisted her throughout her higher education journey at the board's November 2022 meeting. And whereas Jennifer also granted her time and efforts to the Military and Veterans Success Center at UW-Parkside concurrently with her service as a regent. And whereas Jennifer was enthusiastic in her support and recognition of university staff across the state of Wisconsin, serving on the University Staff Excellence Awards Committee, and whereas Jennifer, a proud Ranger, helped to select a new leader for her home campus as a member of the Special Regent Committee for the UW-Parkside Chancellor Search. And whereas Jennifer's pursuit of becoming a physician's assistant stems from her deeply rooted passion for her helping others, her community advocacy, and her desire to give back in meaningful ways. And Jennifer offered insight into the Education Committee in her dual role as a regent and student, sharing her appreciation and support of the new Master of Science in Physician Assistant degree program at UW-Parkside, of which she was one of the first students enrolled. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System hereby offers thanks and commendation to Jennifer Staton for her dedicated service to the citizens of Wisconsin, and wishes her well in all her future endeavors.
I think the student regents should get a humanity credit in public speaking. Okay, let me calm down a little. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here at UW-Milwaukee. This is where I attended my first board meeting. Chancellor Moni, thank you again for hosting. I know what a great team you have here and how much they love what they do. I'd like to first thank my husband, who I finally got to Wisconsin after 4 years. He's stationed at Fort McCoy now. He is my unwavering cheerleader and always has supported me in whatever I do. He has allowed me to make my silent dreams turned into goals. Excuse me. I'd like to first thank Dr. Penny Leiter, Jackie Sako, and Vice Chancellor Tammy McGuckin. Without them, I would have never gotten this opportunity. I'd also like to thank Chancellor Emerita Debbie Ford for all of her support at the beginning. She helped me believe I deserved this opportunity. Thank you, Jess, Megan, Stephen, and Kristen. Without you, I would have been lost. You are the best. Thank you. And if you ever need backup, you know who to call. President Rothman, you are a fearless leader that always puts students' needs first. As a student, I'm so grateful to you and all of your hard work towards the universities of Wisconsin. I would like to thank all of the regents as well. I can't express how much I appreciate everything that I've been able to experience. You have all mentored me in some way, to include some tough committee meetings, student discipline, and other student appeals. My time on the search and screen committee for the new chancellor at Parkside, shout out Chancellor Hickey, go Rangers. I was able to witness the dedication of Regent Vice President Weatherly, who chaired the committee. You blew me away with your steadfast commitment towards Parkside's future. Thank you sincerely. Regent President Bogust, I'm sorry, not sorry for the random texts that led to random calls. All of you have been more than welcoming and helped guide me along this crazy road to being a regent in some way. To the people who will serve after me, this isn't just a political appointment. The decisions made here affect real people who are working tirelessly into ultimately creating opportunities for students across Wisconsin. Shout out to all the faculty and staff. You are the boots on the ground making this happen and touching thousands of lives. Thank you for your selfless dedication and support. I'm a little disappointed that my time has come to an end, but I know Regent Adongo will be better at this than me. So in closing, I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for challenging my perspective and giving me once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Please remember why we are here. We are here to build the brightest future for Wisconsin, but specifically for the students that will be the future of Wisconsin. I was a proud Wisconsinite before this, but this girl from Racine could have never dreamed I would have ended up here. So thank you, everyone. I'm gonna go.
And maybe you should consider a future in politics if the PA thing doesn't pan out, but I'm sure that will. Thank you. Jennifer was, in my time on the board, one of the most outstanding student regents that we had, very dedicated. Today, we are also welcoming back Regent Emeritus John Miller, whose service on the board ended in March. I will now call upon Regent Chris Peterson to present the board's resolution of appreciation for John's service to the universities of Wisconsin.
Good morning, everybody. I am so honored to have been asked to present the resolution of appreciation to John Miller today. Before I read that, I want to introduce John to many of our new regents and remind the rest of you how accomplished and fantastic he is. John is the founder and principal at Ehrenberg Holdings, a venture capital fund established in 2015 to make investments in early stage companies with an emphasis on companies located in the Midwest. He earned his bachelor degree at Marquette, his master's at Georgetown University, before going to law school at UW-Madison. John began his career as a congressional staffer, serving as the chief tax and budget policy advisor for a Wisconsin congressman, serving on the Committee on Ways and Means and the Committee on Budget. In 2006, he joined Miller St. Nazianz. I can never say that. And honestly, people, why they would ever put that hard name on the end of Miller, I have no idea, because there's not a farmer in Wisconsin who can pronounce it. I had to go to Regent Nixon this morning and ask him how to pronounce it. And what they should have done, he said, is just name the town Millerville. So this is just kind of special for me because I'm a farmer. And we have Miller equipment on our farm. So it's so cool. When he got appointed to the board a couple of years after me, it was like, here's somebody from the same place as I am, sort of. Anyway, now I lost my place. His family's farm equipment manufacturing business. I probably should have said that before all of that other stuff. And he became the 5th generation of his family to lead the company as president and CEO. In late 2014, John sold his company to CNH Industrial, the largest customer of Miller St. Nazianz. How'd I do at that time? And if you don't know what CNH is, it's Case New Holland Industrial, and we have all their equipment too. He serves on many local charitable boards, including Discovery World, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin Foundation, Bubler Bikes, or Bubler, I don't know which it is, Public Policy Forum, and Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's Entrepreneurship and Innovation Committee. John was appointed to the Board of Regents to finish out the remainder of the term of Regent Jose Delgado, who died of a stroke in January of 2021. He was reappointed by Governor Evers for a full 7-year term. He was an amazing, dedicated, quietly working member of the board for 3 years, but his appointment was not approved by the Wisconsin Senate, and he had to give up his seat last March. John is well, for one thing, he looks like he's 25, which just, I can't believe it. He is just one of the most dedicated, quiet working people to honor this board. And I'm so surprised and so pleased that I could present this resolution today. Whereas John W. Miller has dedicated 3 years of exemplary service as a member of the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin system, from his first appointment in February 2021 to his reappointment in May 2021, and until his service ended in March of 2024. And whereas John served on the Audit Committee throughout his 3 years on the board, including 1 year as vice chair and 2 years as chair, ensuring integrity and excellence of performance at each of the universities of Wisconsin. And whereas John also served as an engaged member of the Business and Finance Committee, the Education Committee, and the Special Regent Committee on Governance Issues. And whereas John, a proud alumnus of the University of Wisconsin Law School, graciously provided his expertise on personnel matters review committee. And whereas John was enthusiastic in his support and recognition of staff across the universities of Wisconsin as a member of the Academic Staff Excellence Awards Committee, including 2 years as chair. And whereas John helped to ensure strong campus leadership for 2 of the universities of Wisconsin by serving as a member of the Special Regent Committees for the UW-Madison Chancellor Search in 2022 and the UW-Parkside Chancellor Search 2023. And whereas In addition to his service on many local charitable boards, John lent his time and talents as the Regents representative on the Wisconsin Technical College System Board, where I've heard he was an amazing member. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System hereby offers heartfelt thanks and commendation to John W. Mueller for his dedicated service to the citizens of Wisconsin and wishes him well in all future endeavors. The back way.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We just had to check. Here we go.
Well, thank you. That was quite an introduction, St. Nazians. Tim, you'll vouch for me. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak here and for the recognition for my time on the Board of Regents. First, I want to congratulate Regent President Amy Bogust and Regent Vice President Kyle Weatherly on their new roles. You have chosen two smart, compassionate, and committed servants of the University of Wisconsin, and I wish them much success. Now, I know your schedule has been packed. I understand you had a guest speaker this morning, so I'll keep my remarks short, much like my time as a regent. That's a joke. You can laugh if I can laugh. I want to start by commending the board for fostering a spirit of collegiality and decency. When I first joined the board, it was split between appointees by Governor Walker and Governor Evers, and those but I was welcomed at the very first minute by warmth until the very last minute I served on the board, and party affiliation was never a consideration. This board is made up of a group of very smart advocates for our public university system, and want to thank each and every one of you for leaning into this work and taking on the hours and hours of volunteer time in an effort to leave this institution stronger than you found it. Serving on this board is a daunting task, to say the least. I'm sure our new members are feeling that right now. Understanding the vast portfolio of issues takes time and devoted study, from the complexity of the budget to the myriad of issues such as AI, free speech, the fate of our two-year universities, demographic challenges. You have all contributed to the discussion by immersing yourself in the data and coming prepared to work to find common solutions. I want to thank System President Jay Rothman for his steady leadership and renewed commitment to extending opportunity for this board to discuss and debate the issues. Under his stewardship, the board is more informed, and the opportunity to discuss issues directly with him and his team was encouraged. This openness is refreshing and fosters greater trust among the regents and the system. Thank you, Jay. I want to recognize the chancellors for their tireless commitment to moving the ball forward in very challenging times, both in the world and here in Wisconsin. Perhaps the most profound duty of the Board of Regents is selecting the chancellors to lead our universities. I served on 2 search committees and was humbled by the significance of this responsibility. All 13 universities are led by extraordinary people, and I will be cheering each and every one of you. My last thank you goes to Governor Tony Evers for appointing me to the Board of Regents and the underlying trust he placed in me to do what was right by the students of attending the universities. This responsibility is immense, and I want to recognize and extend my thanks to all citizens of Wisconsin who volunteered their time to serve on boards such as this. It should be no surprise to you that I had hoped to be addressing this board 4 years from now at the end of my term, but instead I stand before you today as the first University of Wisconsin Regent, together in spirit with my friend Dana Walks, to be rejected by the state Senate in over 30 years. I realize this is a unique situation, and had I been giving this speech 4 years from now, it is likely that the dimension of politics or Democrats or Republicans would not be included in my remarks. But sadly, because partisan politics is the reason for my dismissal. I believe I have an obligation to talk about how it impacts the University of Wisconsin, this board, and more importantly, every citizen in this state. When Regent Scott Bechtold, who I admire and respect a great deal, gave his final address to the board 1 year ago at this podium, he mentioned that this board is nonpartisan and that he never experienced any divisiveness or petty politics during his service. I agreed with him then, and it might surprise you that I still agree with him today. This board never acted in a partisan manner during my tenure. So it was disappointed that the Republican legislature was determined to force politics into the picture by refusing to consider the appointment of the majority of regents for upwards of 4 years. This is unnecessarily harmful to our public institutions at best and legislative malpractice at its worst. This tactic will have a chilling effect on recruiting citizen volunteers. After all, who would want to be used as a political punching bag for unpaid public service? I can only assume that this strategy was an attempt to muzzle voices on the board that might raise the ire of Republican legislators. I'm sad and deeply regretful that this tactic worked on me. I regret that I did not speak out about the Republican legislature's harmful policies towards the University of Wisconsin. I regret that I didn't publicly condemn withholding university pay raises as vindictive and petty. I regret that I didn't speak out when the legislature cut the board's 2021-2023 budget request by 95%, or when this passed by unanimous request of $293 million resulted in a legislative cut of $32 million. I now stand before you as a regular citizen with no muzzle. I have no muzzle when I cite an April 2024 report by the Legislative Fiscal Bureau that shows that in the 7 budgets since Republicans took control of the legislature, this board requested funding of roughly $1 billion. The legislators' response? A cumulative cut of $225 million. Not a reduction of $1 billion to $225 million, a cut of $225 million. In a time today of multi-billion dollar state surpluses, this level of funding for the UW is unconscionable. It is unacceptable to our students and our employers that our state ranks below nearly every other state in the nation in terms of state support for our public university. This is not a recipe for economic success. It's an embarrassment. Our elected officials need to do better by the University of Wisconsin and do it quickly. Had I publicly leveled this criticism of the Republican leadership in our legislature prior to today, my dismissal may have been expected. I assume that I was removed from the board because of my vote on the DEI funding agreement reached with Speaker Voss. I say assume because none of the senators that voted against my confirmation made statements as to their reasoning. But the votes against the proposal were portrayed in the press and by some legislators as carried out by those beholden to, quote, the sacred ideology of wokeness. I think we would all agree that we live in a democracy, but unfortunately that assumption is in peril when the Wisconsin legislature, a deliberative body tasked with making policy, expels a member from another deliberative body, this one, also tasked with making policy, simply for casting a vote they didn't like. This isn't impeachment. There are no high crimes and misdemeanors here. Just a difference of opinion on a matter of public policy. What does this say about our state that civil debate and discourse and disagreement is not protected but penalized? A spirited exchange of ideas should be celebrated and not silenced. Now, let me be clear. I absolutely unequivocally support DEI initiatives. I was frankly surprised by the fervor over the issue for a number of reasons. First, this board voted without opposition and without any controversy back in 2022 for a strategic plan that has very concrete deliverables calling for an increase in virtually all groups helped by DEI programs. Second, DEI is mainstream. It is supported by conservatively run groups right here in Milwaukee, such as the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce, Northwestern Mutual, and in a move that I still find amusing, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee unveiled a robust DEI program the very same week that Speaker Voss announced he was withholding $32 million from the UW budget because of the use of DEI programs. The DEI issue, unfortunately, obscured a more important issue and the main reason for my vote against the proposal. At its core, the fundamental issue was a desire by certain Republican legislators to influence policy for which they have no statutory authority. In this case, they wanted to mandate the titles and work product of individuals employed by our universities. That authority rests solely with this board and our individual universities. They couldn't do so through legislative process, so they held up funding, a lot of funding, in an ultimately successful effort to get this board to relinquish its autonomy. I worry about the precedent this sets. Now the legislature knows that they simply need to withhold funding in order to achieve their political ends. Minutes after the measure passed, Speaker Voss commented that this was the first step in his ideological crusade, an indication that he will use this tactic again. With what has been happening to other public universities, such as in Florida, I don't think it's alarmist to ask what's next on the Republican legislators' political agenda. Legislative control over course syllabi? Over what books are in the library? This political battle over DEI was not of this board's making. It was thrust upon us by politicians trying to score points. It is my sincere hope that elected officials on both sides of the aisle revert to aiming their fire at each other and let this board get on with the important business of running our universities. The UW faces a number of headwinds. We know them all. Questions about the need for a college education persist. Wisconsin has an aging population and lower birth rates. The number of high school graduates is declining and the state is losing population. If we want to keep our kids in Wisconsin and attract those from other states to go to school here and stay here, there is only one answer: a strong public university system. This board has been entrusted as the caretaker of this awesome public asset, and I wish you all the best of luck as you navigate its future. And I sincerely hope, unlike me, you do so with no regrets. Thank you. Thanks.
So if I could, I would like to add that when John came on the board, I don't recall him ever saying no to me. Everything he was asked to do, he stepped in and said, absolutely, I'll do it. And John, the loss of your contributions to this board is one of the things I most regret from my years in leadership. You are missed. I will now call upon Regent Rye to read the board's resolution of appreciation to UW-Milwaukee for hosting our June meeting.
Thank you, Regent President Walsh. I know as Regents, we're not supposed to have a favorite campus or a favorite meeting. But I'm going to say I have a favorite campus and a favorite meeting because I had my first job on campus. I had my first job on campus in this building. It brings back incredible memories for me. For the 4 times we've had a meeting in here, I sneak out at lunch and I take a walk around campus. I walk by Sandberg, I walk by all the buildings I've been to, and I can't tell you just how much I love this place and what it means to me as a person. So it's my honor to read this today. Whereas the members of the Board of Regents are pleased to recognize the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee as the official host campus for the board's June 2024 meeting, and the board is grateful for the generous hospitality extended by Chancellor Mark Money and the entire Panther community. And whereas the board appreciated hearing Chancellor Money's presentation, Transforming for Tomorrow Together, emphasizing UWM's unique dual mission of access and research in a vibrant urban location. And whereas the Business and Finance Committee thanks Robin Van Harpen, Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administrative Affairs, for providing an update on financial and administrative planning to support UWM's tripartite mission focused on access, and student success, research excellence, and deep community service and engagement. And whereas the Capital Planning and Budget Committee heard an update on UWM's capital planning progress, including impactful construction and renovation projects completed in the last year or underway, including the student union renovation currently completed and new chemistry building in its final stages of construction. And whereas the Education Committee learned how UWM is amplifying remarkable potential from Provost Andrew Dare and student speakers who spoke about their experience being part of a research team and the impact on their lives and future plans. And whereas the Audit Committee was pleased to receive UWM's annual NCAA Division I Athletics report from Director of Athletics Amanda Braun, and whereas board members were delighted to get a closer look at the UWM Student Union beautifully renovated over the past 2 summers to create a light-filled, functional, and welcoming space for students and visitors to enjoy, be it therefore resolved that the Board of Regents hereby thanks UW-Milwaukee for its in-depth presentations, forward-thinking spirit, and valuable contributions to the University of Wisconsin and the entire state.
Thank you. Before we end our open session, do Regents have any communications, petitions, or memorials to share? All right, seeing none, thank you, everyone. This concludes our open session. Vice President, President-elect Bogus, will you read the motion to move into closed session?
I move that the Board of Regents move into closed session to consider a student request for review of a UW-Madison disciplinary decision as permitted by Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent A, Parent F, and Parent G of Wisconsin statutes. Considered faculty member requests for review of UW lacrosse personnel decisions.
Bigger.
Okay. As permitted by Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, and Parent F, and Parent G of Wisconsin statutes, and consider personnel evaluations as chancellors permitted by Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you, Regents. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Regent Adams. Regent Adongo.
You'll have to speak up. We're fighting a little
Regent
noise.
Bogus.
Yes.
Regent Brankus. Regent Cologne. Thank you. Regent Goydam. Goydam. Thank you. Regent Cruiser.
Yes.
Regent Many Deeds. Okay. Regent Nixon.
Yes.
Thank you. Regent Peterson.
Yes, ma'am.
Regent Prince. Regent Rye. Regent Salzwedel. Regent Salzwedel. Thank you. Regent Trainer. Regent Tyler. Regent Underly. And Regent Walsh.
The School of
I'm hoping that you will send them back to the president tonight. They call them.
Okay.
This is just so you have no.
Okay, good.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Regent Weatherly.
But I also don't want you to feel like you're.
Thank you.
Rather than in the dark, don't open the envelope.
No, I don't want to be in the dark.
But it's alphabetized, it's not organized by priority.